Hi, so if you clicked on this video, I want to say that I'm sorry things are hard right now, and I want to assure you that this time will pass. When you're in a difficult situation, it can feel like it's never ending, but this time, no matter what it is going to pass. Now, how do you get through a situation that feels very tough and feels overwhelming? You have to take it day by day and step by step. You have to do things just a little bit at a time and break things down. There was a time in my life where I was in an immense amount of pain, and this was a physical pain. I've also had emotional pain, but I think using physical pain for this example is the best, because emotional pain is very hard to compare, but we all go through physical pain. So there was a time in my life where I was in an immense amount of pain, and it meant that every moment of my life I felt in pain, and it was hard to just do anything. It was hard to be awake, it was hard to be asleep, it was hard to move. And how I got through that time when it felt like when I woke up there's pain, when, whatever I did there would be pain. How I got through that time was I just thought to myself, I need to make it another hour. Like I would be at work and I would think, I just have to make it another hour. And then that hour would pass. And then I would think I'd make it another hour. And that hour would pass. And pretty soon the whole day would pass. Or if I didn't feel like I could do an hour, I would think, I just have to make it past another minute. I just have to, and then once I made it past the minute, that minute became an hour, that hour became a day. And that was every day. It was just going through that of thinking to myself, I just have to make it past, this minute or this 10 minutes. And then sure enough, the whole day would pass. And that's how I kept hanging on until I was able to finally go see a doctor and get a diagnosis for my pain. And whoever you are and whatever situation you're in, that's how I want to encourage you to keep going and keep going, even when things are very hard and very tough and it feels like there's no end. I'm going to assure you that whatever is going on right now is not constant, and it's not always going to be there, because the most constant thing in life is change. And so whatever you're going through, things will change. Okay, and then I have one more example of breaking things down. so they're more manageable. During COVID, I was kind of struggling with some anxiety and depression, and I would feel very overwhelmed where I just did not feel like I could do anything. And a big thing for me, everything else was like, okay, that's okay if that's a mess. But the biggest thing for me was obviously the dishes in the sink. They would stack up, and the more they stacked up, the more overwhelmed I felt. And the more overwhelmed I felt, the more paralyzed I felt by all the dishes. And I just felt like I couldn't do anything. I would lay on the couch and feel like I could not move. And how I eventually broke past that was thinking, okay, well, I feel really overwhelmed by these dishes. What is something that I can do to make it easier? And that would be cleaning out the dish rack, because that would also get pretty stacked up. So instead of seeing all the things I need to do to get the dishes done, like cleaning out the dish rack, cleaning all the dishes, letting them dry, instead of that, I just thought, I'm just going to focus on cleaning out the dish rack. And then once I cleaned out that dish rack, it was easier for me to do the dishes. And, you know, it sounds quite funny, but it is something that at that time I felt quite overwhelmed by. Just doing this simple task, it feels simple, but in my mind it became so big. And when tasks be like that, when you're looking so far beyond yourself or so far beyond the thing you need to do, sometimes in order to complete a project, there's so many little tasks to do, and that can feel very overwhelming. So instead of looking at everything that needs to be done, just focus on one one small thing. For example, with the dishes, if you've been feeling like cleaning out the dish rack was a lot, I probably would have just broken it down to, let's just put up the utensils, or let's just put up the cups, just break everything down. Everything can be broken down into something smaller. For example, if you're gonna vacuum and that feels overwhelming, maybe just plug in the vacuum. That's something very, very small you could do. Maybe just take the vacuum out from wherever it's stored. Just take it out and plug it in. And if that's all you have energy for, that's fine too. Yeah. And so when things are hard, just take it step by step. Take it minute by minute, day by day. When it feels overwhelming because it feels like there's so much stuff to get done, this is really big, it's really big in front of me. This project is so huge, or the things I need to get done, there's so many. Break those down too. Break them down into smaller parts that are easier for you to do. And just believe that this time, whatever it is that you're struggling with, this time will pass. All right, well, I'm very sorry if you are going through a hard time. And if you're not, I hope that you did find something useful in this video, and see you soon. Bye.